The most anticipated update for Dayz is right around the corner, and even though it might not seem large on paper, as far as the amount of items being added to the game, I assure you the significance of this update is far more important than anything we have ever seen. Just a slight disclaimer, instead of going through the list of things and bore you guys with something that you might have already seen on the internet, I want to talk more specifically about one thing, which is the driving in this game. I will not talk about the whole update, I just solely want to focus on the driving because that's the most important thing in my opinion. If you're a new player to Dayz, let me just let you know that the driving in Dayz has been the most annoying and the most frustrating thing to ever exist. It's always been an issue. Even the players with the beefiest computers would experience some sort of issue down the line, especially when it comes to the driving. Dayz has always struggled with optimization in general. Now with the new 1.19 update, Dayz development team has finally introduced a new engine mechanic which specifically aims towards the driving. And here's everything you need to know when it comes to the driving simulation in Dayz. Whether you're watching this video prior to the release date or slightly after, the driving in Dayz is a lot better. It's not perfect, but holy shit has it improved. The cars now have more weight to them. When you're driving around, cars feel a lot heavier and more sturdy, if that's the proper term in this case. You can still ruin the vehicle fairly quickly, so I think boosting your vehicle's durability kind of needed. Playing for about a day on official testing server, considering that the server was mostly full almost all the time, the car's performance was stable. Now just a disclaimer, I never got my hands on the new Humvee, however driving just an old Olga was enough of a sign that stability is very much there. Now, things to keep in mind after this update goes golden on all the platforms, country roads feel a lot more bumpier. So I definitely don't recommend driving very fast on those roads simply because it's very easy to lose control. Cars feel as if they have more suspension to them, if that makes any sense. Also something worth mentioning, which opens up a lot of opportunities for Dayz modders as well as the community in general, and it's automatic transmission. Dayz is known to be one of the most realistic survival games you'll ever play to this day. Let me rephrase it, it's not the most realistic, but it's one of the most realistic survival games you'll ever play to this day. Now, something I'm truly excited about is the variety of vehicles available to you. Not the types of vehicles, but more so their transmission. If there was truly a zombie apocalypse, you wouldn't know what kind of a vehicle you would come across, and most importantly, with what kind of transmission installed. Whether it's manual or automatic, you just never know. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there's any survival games out there, or any games in that matter, that use different transmissions in general. Normally it's either automatic or it's a manual, there's no in between. But Dayz decided to have the balance in between, and that's a very realistic approach in my opinion. For the sake of this channel and this video, let's just focus more on survival games. Earlier I mentioned modders, and let me tell you, anyone that mods vehicles for any of those games, this is super beneficial because they no longer have to worry about working with the manual transmission, and they can now implement more modern vehicles that do use automatic transmission instead. Just like I mentioned earlier, the driving isn't perfect and little stutters will still occur, but you will no longer fall through the map or be launched into the sky for just no reason, and that's something I'm willing to take and work with. I'm not gonna sugarcoat, I've given Dayz so much shit for not getting their shit together, especially when it comes to the driving part, but for someone who heavily criticized this game for a very long time, I'm truly happy with this final initial step. And I don't care how brutally I might have come off to them before, I watched this game ever since I was a kid. I want them to make this game shine because they owe this to us. I will say, once again, that I'm truly happy to see them do something about this, because it's about that time. This was your boy Roos, and I'm out.